loud and proud Razorback Stadium, where tonight Arkansas takes the field in front of their home fans as a top 10 program for the first time in over a decade. You'd have to go all the way back to when that man was head coach of the Hogs. Bobby Petrino, who as luck would have it, returns to Fayetteville tonight for the first time since his unceremonious exit 11 years ago. Petrino back in town as head coach of the Missouri State Bears, who he's got ranked number 6 at the FCS level right now, here to take on one of the best teams in the country, number 10 at the FBS level. The Arkansas Razorbacks off to a really strong start to the season. Petrino greeted with a mixed reception, a little more boos than cheers pregame for a coach that brought this Hogs program to a Sugar Bowl and a Cotton Bowl a little more than a decade ago. So that's serving as our backdrop. Welcome to Razorback Stadium alongside the Super Bowl champ Brian Kitchen. I'm Jay Alter. We'll be joined on the field by Tara Talmadge in just a minute. Brian, surely the emotions running high, both for Bobby Petrino, but also this Arkansas fan base.
Yeah, and we're all human, and none of us want to be judged by our worst decisions, and we also desire to be loved and accepted. And those two emotions, I'm sure, came together in that moment, and I'm sure he's glad to have it behind him. Moving on to the task at hand, which is Arkansas, who I believe is becoming one of the big boys on the block.
Yeah, it's a tall task for Coach Petrino tonight. Arkansas making their way into the top 10 for the first time, really, since Bobby Petrino was the head coach of this program at Tara. Sam Pittman, when he took this job, he used Bobby Petrino as part of his pitch.
Bobby Petrino's success was definitely a big recruiting tool for head coach Sam Pittman here at Arkansas. He said when he first started going out on recruiting trail, he would tell guys, hey, look, this is an Arkansas program that can play in the Sugar Bowl. They can play in the Cotton Bowl, and they can be ranked in the top 5 teams in the country. They are on their way to getting back to that level that Petrino got this program to at one point. Pittman is looking forward to getting back into the top 5.
Well, obviously, Tara, still early along in this season, but you feel the juice and the excitement in Razorback Stadium, and I'd say it's absolutely back to what this program felt like when Bobby Petrino was on the home sideline instead of the visitor one. Arkansas won the toss deferred, so Missouri State back to receive in white. We are underway, and we will get our first look at this Bears offense orchestrated by Jason Shelley, a former Power 5 quarterback at Utah. As there's a flag on the kickoff, we'll get that first before Shelley and his Bears offense runs out.
After the play was over, personal foul on the receiving team number 88. That penalty will be, of course, half the distance to the goal. First down.
So not an ideal start for Bobby Petrino's Missouri State team, as Chase Lowry was called for the penalty to get this game started.
Certainly on the special teams end of the spectrum, you want to clean that up, be sharp, give your offense a chance, not put them in a hole before they even get out of the gate.
So as we mentioned, Jason Shelley, a former Power 5 quarterback at Utah, he's coming off a career-high 5-touchdown performance, which earned him FCS Player of the Week. Now he's got to do it against a top 10 defense. Running the ball on first down, trying to turn the corner. Kayvon Latulis could not turn the corner. Simeon Blair makes the stop.
And this is a defense that has struggled on the back end, not just in the first 2 games, where they've given up an average of 350 yards through the air, but they've also got injuries back there as well. And it might be something that they're going to try to exploit early, Missouri State.
And a Bobby Petrino coach team, you know they like to throw the football. That's exactly what Shelley does here out of the backfield. It's Jacardier right on the grab, and he moves the sticks. Take a look at our impact players tonight. Right on cue, Wright makes the play for the first down. For Arkansas, it's those 2 linebackers that really set the tone defensively.
Yeah, Poole and Sanders, those are the heart and soul of that defense. Their defensive coordinator had great praise for both of those young men and the character they have and the leadership skills that they possess and they bring to the field every single day at practice and certainly on Saturday nights.
They stick with the run game. Wright swallowed up immediately. Drew Sanders in on the scene. Boy, the transfer from Alabama, ever since he's moved to linebacker from edge, they stood him up, and his game has hit a new level.
Well, they haven't been the Mike linebacker, but this time they put him out on the edge where everything's inside of him. It's what he did when he was back at Alabama, which is what he does really well. He's trying to learn the position of being the Mike where he's got to defend both sides, but having it inside of you like that is too easy for him, and we saw that right there.
So versatile, a Swiss Army knife for this Arkansas defense. 2nd and 10, Shelley gets rid of it quickly. He'll have to do that all night long. In and out of the hands of Jordan Jones. He's a 7th-year senior, a former Arkansas Razorback player, spent 5 years here at Fayetteville, so maybe some nerves as he makes the return trip.
Yeah, that was a beautiful throw, really. He had a step on McLaughlin and just dropped the football. It would have been a huge play for them. Now it gives them long yardage, a little bit more difficult now when they know it's coming.
Pressure coming. Shelley gets rid of it. Great feed. And it's right at the line to gain. They're going to give him the first down. Jahad Booker on the grab. And Missouri State and Bobby Petrino on this opening drive have moved the chains twice.
And that's about as simple as you can get right there. A little dig route from the slot receiver, inside guy, Booker. And it's just one read for Shelley. And he makes the decision to throw and catch. It's an easy conversion, even though it was a difficult 3rd and 10.
Now this Arkansas secondary is vulnerable, dealing with a lot of injuries that have started to pile up. Jalen Catalon, first team SEC, out for the season. Shelley's been picking the secondary apart, moves the chains again. Right on the money. Ty Scott, the transfer from Central Michigan, gain of 13.
Another beautifully executed play. He has the play action off of it with the comeback route on the outside, and Scott executes it, puts it right on the boundary. Shelley, beautiful ball. Again, these plays are all scripted now, so these are the ones they know are going to work the best, but you still have to execute them to make them go.
1st and 10, trying to get into Razorback territory. They go back to Jacardier Wright, but this time met immediately. Bumper Pool in on the scene.
And this is where it's going to get tough, trying to find that run game. And they've got to be balanced. They cannot come out here and throw the ball every snap. They've got to be able to establish a run game and keep that defense honest, because you just do one thing, they're going to start pinning their ears back on the edge and coming at you if you're throwing the ball every snap. So they've got to get the run game going.
Helmet came off for Wright, so Selden Manning into the game in the backfield. 8th play of the opening drive for Missouri State. Shelley, clean pocket, plenty of time, but he didn't get it away. Zach Williams broke free, took Shelley down. Loss of 7 on the sack. Brian, he had to get rid of that ball.
Beautiful zone coverage right there. There was not anywhere to go with that football. And Zach Williams off the edge took advantage of that coverage sack. A beautiful job. Zach's dad, Ricky, played linebacker here back from 84 to 87, back when I was at old LSU with the Tigers. Long time ago.
3rd and 15. They've converted on 1 3rd down already on this drive. Got to get it to the 43-yard line. Pressure coming. Sanders can't make the stop. Williams, who just had the sack. Shelley throwing on the run, incomplete. So what looked to be a promising opening drive stalls out around midfield. Shelley couldn't connect with Ty Scott, who was open.
We got a great look at Sanders, the Alabama transfer, and what he likes to do on 3rd down, get on that edge and to create havoc in the backfield. But we also got a good look at Shelley and what he's so capable of doing, of moving and trying to find that open receiver.
You know, a year ago, Shelley and the Bears hung around with Oklahoma State, lost 23-16 in Stillwater. Bryce Stevens on the return, turns the corner into Bears territory. There's a flag down at the 36-yard line. Let's see if this promising punt return will have to be called back. As it stands, a 34-yard punt and a 31-yard return.
Team number 27. That 10-yard penalty will be enforced from the spot of the foul. First down.
Punt will be marked back into Arkansas territory as we get our first look at KJ Jefferson and this Hogs offense. The redshirt junior epitomizes this offense. He's so hard to stop. He leads the nation in broken tackles by a quarterback with 14 through 2 games.
And he's a big body. He's as big as I was in my prime in the NFL as a tight end. And this guy is effective with the run game, and he's also, they tailor that offense around his ability to throw the ball and spread it around.
And he's got Rocket Sanders, who's been incredible to start this season. He gets his first touch of the game. Back-to-back 100-yard rushing performances to start this season, and they use a tempo, so they're going to get back to that line and try and grind teams down through the run game. That's what they did against Cincinnati and South Carolina, and it worked well.
Yeah, and I know this doesn't look really exciting, but that's what they do. We talked about it in the we wanted to get to it in the open about how Sam Pittman is an offensive line guy. He wants to run the football. That's what they do. They live and die by the run game, and we're going to see a lot of that here tonight. We've seen it a lot in the first 2 snaps.
They've got 40 or 60 pounds up front with that offensive line. Incompletion, trying to pick out Jaden Hazelwood. So a 3-and-out for Arkansas offensively. Haven't seen too many of those for Sam Pittman's team this season. And that'll give Missouri State plenty of confidence, Brian.
Yeah, you don't like to see the run, pass. You can see that in middle school football back at home. But that's what they did, and when you don't get the yards you need, and you get in 3rd and long, and you're asking your quarterback to do a little more than he's used to, because they don't like dropping back and throwing the ball.
Called for the fair catch at the 20. That's where Jason Shelley and this Bears offense will take over. Bobby Petrino back in Fayetteville for the first time in 11 years. Quarterback Jason Shelley lovingly calls this Bears team the Bad News Bears, because a lot of this roster is made up of guys on their 2nd or even 3rd chance in the case of Shelley, who was at Utah and Utah State before this. He even points out Coach Petrino, well-documented rough road to bring him to Missouri State, including an unceremonious departure here in Fayetteville from Arkansas. But it's a rallying cry for this team. 48 transfers, 26 from the FBS level. Shelley's in trouble. Taken down, 2nd sack of the day. Jordan Dominic got in there quickly.
Going back to your comment earlier, he talked about building the program with those transfers. He also credited COVID, which I thought was strange as well, but he credits the transfer portal for him being able to do what he's done in a short period of time here at Missouri State.
Now, it's really tough to find chemistry when you're bringing in 48 transfers into a football team, but the one thing they all have in common is they want a second chance. This is a fresh start. It's epitomized by Bobby Petrino, their head coach. And that has given them that fast chemistry out to a 2-0 start, number 16 in FCS play. Bumper Poole makes a stop on Jacardier Wright.
And I like the fact they're still trying to stay with the run game. They get way behind the chains. They just don't put it up in the air. They try to get something to at least, as I said earlier, keeping that Arkansas defense honest and not just trying to gun it on every snap, especially when you're behind the 8 ball on downs.
Ears pinned back on a 3rd and 13. Shelley knows he's got to get rid of it quickly. Did a good job of that early, but has taken 2 sacks. Barking orders at his offensive line. Play clock down to 2. 5 comes. Shelley does get rid of it. Dangerous pass, almost intercepted. Bumper Poole there again. He's everywhere for this Razorbacks defense, forces the incompletion.
He covers the field. It was man coverage. He was a little bit late getting out there, but it was a throw that should have been a little bit wider to his guy where he had a chance at it. Jacardier Wright. but he's got some range on him. He can move.
Bryce Stevens had a 31-yard punt return earlier. It was called back for a holding call, trying to wiggle his way free, weaving through traffic. Another flag down at the 42-yard line.
We've had 4 special teams plays and 3 flags. What are the percentages? 75%.
You needed the stat guy for that, Brian?
Well, I asked facetiously, but
That'll drive head coaches crazy, and Sam Pittman said penalties was the #1 priority this week.
On the receiving team, number 81. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
He joked with his team at the beginning of every practice. He said, we're 2-0, but what am I going to talk to you about? Penalties was the answer, and Arkansas has taken a few early. Jay Alter, Brian Kitchen back with you. And Brian, Arkansas back in the top 10. How has Sam Pittman done it?
they're running the football, and a lot of teams say they want to be balanced. They say they want to run the football, but this team is committed to the run game, and they've developed a mentality of that, especially up front with those 5 guys that are committed to that. Well, I said, they're down in the dirt every week trying to get it done.
It all starts with those 5 guys up front. I'll tell you what, I know it's early, but keep this offensive line unit for Sam Pittman in the Joe Moore Award conversation for best offensive line in the country. They continue to run the football like they have to start the season. Throwing it on first down. Jefferson puts it right on the money into the secondary to Matt Landers, the transfer from Toledo, gain of 26.
And that's what the run game gets you, that play action on early downs, and creates huge windows of opportunity to throw the football.
Tempo offense. Jefferson pulls it out, decides to run it himself this time. Tough guy to bring down. Ball might have popped out, and it did. It was Jefferson's knee down. The officials trying to see who's at the bottom of this pile. Jefferson, who's so good with ball security usually, just lost it. Vaughn Young has it for Missouri State. It's Bears football. Sam Pittman can't believe it. The #1 thing with KJ Jefferson is his ball security coming into the game. He's one of only 2 active quarterbacks with more than 40 touchdowns and less than 10 turnovers. And yeah, he clearly lost it.
Without a doubt, and Coach Petrino talked about getting all 11 guys to the ball carrier because of this guy, Jefferson, because he breaks so many tackles. And he said they also have to be able to tackle. And when you tackle well, balls come loose. When you have players around to be able to scoop it up, that's a huge bonus.
Jefferson speaking with offensive coordinator Kendall Briles. So a 3-and-out and a fumble to start this game for Arkansas. Shelley unloads a deep ball, taking a shot at the Arkansas secondary, and he overthrew his target. Was looking for the speedster Ty Scott, but put too much on it.
Simeon Blair out there, one of their team captains, named before last week's game, the former walk-on, got a scholarship back in 2020, had him covered up. Had to have thrown that one absolutely perfect. But they took a shot. I like to see that, especially early downs. Now you can try to recover and get into manageable distances.
Arkansas without Jalen Catalon, Ladarius Bishop, and Miles Slusher in the secondary. So a weakened unit, and Bobby Petrino's taking a couple of shots at it early. Blitz coming. Shelley gets rid of it, incomplete over the middle. And looking for Jihad Booker.
Arkansas went to man coverage, brought 5 guys straight up the middle, and they had it. It was a little bit of an inside throw, but they almost got it beat. But again, they are sitting in these 3rd and longs, and you cannot do that against an Arkansas team. Even though they're vulnerable in that back end, you can't live and die at 3rd down and 10.
Shelley's thrown 4 straight incompletions after he started this game, 4 of 5 through the air. Now he's dealing with a 3rd and 10. Razorbacks send 4. Shelley steps up, Throws on the run. It's caught for a first down. Picking out the tight end. Excellent job by Shelley to keep that play alive with the Razorbacks hot on his tail.
And extending plays is what gives you what you get with Shelley. They dropped 8 in coverage. They only rushed 3. And eventually the coverage is going to break down, and he took advantage of it.
Into Arkansas territory for the first time today. Bobby Petrino at his return to Fayetteville. His team's playing with some confidence. Shelley a little behind. Ty Scott incomplete.
Scott had Blair beat, number 15. And that's another throw by Shelley, just a little bit off. He's missed a few throws. It really could have been really big plays for the Bears. And I'm really surprised that we're seeing them try to attack them through the air. But as I talked about earlier, alluded to that earlier, Arkansas's defense in the passing game is last in the SEC and nearly last in the nation with that 350 yards they give up per game after the first 2 of the season.
Play action. Shelley throws again. Completes for another first down. Latulis fired up. 17-yard gain as Jason Shelley starting to unlock the passing game.
5-yard out route from the slot. Shelley just laces it in there. There's no reads. He just unloads. A missed tackle, and you get a 17-yard gain. That's huge.
First and 10 inside the Arkansas 30. Pitch in the backfield, blown up. Read it the whole way. Jordan Dominic and Jaden Johnson combining in the backfield, loss of 5.
There was nowhere going. I like the fact they were trying to do a little bit of a trickeration on him, but you can't do that with an Arkansas team. I know it's hard up in the middle of the tackles getting some yards, but when you start going horizontal in the run game, you're not going to get anything, and you're going to lose yards like they did right there.
Backed up to a 2nd and 15 after the loss of 5. Pressure coming again. Shelley puts it right on the money to the former Razorback Jordan Jones. The 7th-year senior got himself free. Gain of 19, another first down.
It's nice execution out wide. It looks like it might have been a blown coverage with the corner sitting right on the numbers there. Just didn't react quick enough to the throw and didn't see it out there.
7th play of the drive. Inside the red zone for the first time today. Shelley evades the pressure, breaks a tackle inside the 10 before he's wrapped out of bounds by Blair. But Jason Shelley feeling it on this drive for Missouri State.
Extending those plays when they're dropping back and throwing the football and being able to move that football with his legs, even though they had him right there rushing 5 up the middle, he makes a play out of it.
Marked up just shy of that first down marker. 2nd and 1. 8th play of the drive from the Arkansas 5. Jason Shelley trying to punch it in against the number 10 team in the country. Shelley gets the first down. Did a nice job with the play collapsing. Jordan Dominic had broken free to make the tackle.
Now, I love that. It's 2nd down. You've only got a short distance to be able to get the first down. And they try to drop back and hit the end zone. I love that. I love rolling the dice there. Now they got a fresh set of downs to be able to do what they want to do, to try to punch it in inside the 5.
Bobby Petrino on his return to Fayetteville, trying to score first. Shelley off his back foot just threw it away with pressure at his face.
Now there's a little bit of a contrast there. They're trying to run play action on early down, which I love. I absolutely love that. But when you don't run the football very well, no one's really going to respect it, and especially down here when it's man coverage, nobody's looking at the quarterback anyway. So you've got to beat man coverage when it gets into the red zone. They weren't able to do that, and Shelley had nowhere to go with the football.
Even though Missouri State comes in as an FCS program, nobody should be surprised they're holding their own early in this game. A year ago, they went to Stillwater, hung with Oklahoma State, lost that game by a touchdown, 23-16. Shelley in trouble, makes a man miss, trying to bulldoze his way in, met at the 2-yard line. Latavius Brini, the transfer from Georgia, saving the touchdown there for Arkansas.
And as a running back, even though he's a quarterback, when he's moving the football as a running back, you're expected to make one guy miss, and he does right there. Landon Jackson misses. And what happens? He gets 3 yards on the play when he should have lost 2. It's a crucial error. They've got to be able to tackle better up front for Arkansas. They can't let him continue to elude tackles.
Shelley goes under center for the first time tonight. I formation on a 3rd and goal. Right. Dives in and scores. Missouri State strikes first. In Bobby Petrino's return to Fayetteville, the Bears are on the board. $11-play, 64-yard drive. Some big plays made by the quarterback, Jason Shelley, but it was Jacardier Wright, the running back, who punched it in on 3rd and goal. This Razorbacks crowd who came in with so much hype wins against Cincinnati and South Carolina. Their team back in the top 10 for the first time in a decade playing in front of this home crowd. And instead, it's Bobby Petrino and Missouri State that are stealing the show early, Brian.
And we're seeing missed tackles. You can't do that. They've got to sharpen that up as we come back. A few.
Well, who could have predicted this? Arkansas came into this game one of the hottest teams in the country, wins against Cincinnati and South Carolina to start this season. And little old Missouri State out of the FCS has come in to Fayetteville and scored the first touchdown of this game. It was a drive orchestrated by defensive errors, Brian.
Yeah, it's highlighted by missed tackles. The first one right up the middle with Sanders, and allows Shelley out on the edge. And then again here we got Jackson coming up, being able to make a stop for a loss. Gives him a 3-yard gain on the play, and then the touchdown. Latavius Brini's out there on the edge. He misses as well. That's not a good thing, and Coach Pittman cannot be happy.
Neither can defensive coordinator Barry Odom. He's dealing with 3 injuries in the secondary, but players on the field failing to wrap up. Arkansas struggled to get this run game going. You mentioned the strong start to the season against Cincinnati and South Carolina. They controlled those games with tempo, excelled in the run game, exerted their will. In this first quarter, they've only run 6 plays compared to Missouri State's 24.
And they are number 1 in the country rushing, or number 1 in the SEC rushing the football, 8th in the country. This line weighs an average of 316 pounds. That's 46 pounds on average heavier than what the guys are across from them with the Missouri State Bears, and they can't get anything going.
3rd and 5, only 19 yards of total offense in this first quarter for Arkansas. This does not look like the team that dominated the run game against South Carolina and Cincinnati. Jefferson through the air does just enough. Matt Landers, they might mark him half a foot short. Yeah, they do. It'll bring up 4th in a matter of inches. KJ Jefferson runs under center, plows forward on a quarterback sneak to move the chains on 4th down. That's a good thing about having a quarterback at 6'3", 245.
I love the fact they don't hesitate, and they need to. They've got to get something going. They cannot punt this football away. They cannot turn this football over without points. This offense has to give their defense a break. They have to give them some hope. They've got to get points on the board, and it begins with first downs.
Jefferson taking a shot deep on 1st and 10. Arkansas looking for the immediate answer. Did the ball cross the plane before it popped out on the goal line? Keytron Jackson We're going to say he was down at the 1-yard line. He extended that ball and it actually popped free. Could have been a disaster for Arkansas. Instead, a gain of 64. Hogs hurry to the line.
That was a beautiful ball by Jefferson. He looked a little shaky early on.
This play is going to go under review. Ketron Jackson tried to extend to break the plane with the football. Sam Pittman talking to the sophomore wide receiver.
They better hope it crossed the line, because if it didn't, that's a touchback.
Is the knee down before the ball pops free?
Luckily that elbow hits, because I don't think the knee is down, but the elbow hits, he's down before that ball pops loose, because that could have been a catastrophe. Because if it goes through the end line like that, it's live. But that elbow hits.
And he's down. Loose. He's down with that elbow inside the 1.
He's inside
the hip as well, down at the 1-yard line.
After review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. First down.
Sam Pittman's team has it 1st and goal with a little less than a minute to go in this opening quarter, trying to punch it in. Sanders, he lost the football as well. Missouri State on the stop, and they have the football. What a play on the goal line. Manalele Ua has the football, pried it free for Missouri State. Wow, you could not script this start for Bobby Petrino and this Bears team coming to Fayetteville against a top 10 program, and they continue to make big plays in big moments. Take another look.
And it looks like he gets spun around, but he never goes down, and that ball pops right out. And that's a live ball.
Farron Manalele Ua pried it free. Akina Awumebe scooped it up. So this play is going to go under review, but I think we saw it pretty clearly in the replay. Rocket Sanders has been so good to start this season for Sam Pittman's team. Back-to-back 100-yard rushing performances, 2 touchdowns as well. And that's the guy who you want in that situation with the football, and he got spun up, lost it. We'll take another look, but I think this is pretty cut and dry, Brian.
Yeah, it's not something they even need to look at, but I guess just to be thorough, they do it. The helmet hits right on the ball, and as much as you can say, man, you need to hold on to that football, that's just a very, very tough task when you got a helmet coming at you at a couple of miles per hour, and it's just hard. You cannot hang on. I've had that happen many times before, and Belichick still would come up to me and chew me out about it. But I'm like, Coach, like, seriously, I'm upside down, and the helmet hit the ball. What do you want me to do? So, but you still can't let those happen. You've got to be able to stay tight with that ball. Turnovers and penalties, things that we talked about with Coach, that you just cannot let happen. And they talked about letting them hang around in this ball game. The longer they hang around, the more dangerous they become, because they all start believing. And it looks like they believed since play 1, snap 1 of this football game, because Arkansas better hang on to their hat.
Let's get the call.
Stands, first down.
A goal line fumble keeps the Missouri State shutout intact. Bobby Petrino, in his first trip back to Razorback Stadium since he unceremoniously left 11 years ago. Had this Arkansas program number 5 in the country. They had just won the Cotton Bowl. It all fell apart in a couple of days. Resurfaces with Missouri State, and they're 40 seconds away from going into the second quarter with a 7-0 lead. Arkansas a 3-and-out and 2 fumbles offensively in this opening quarter. Shelley takes a shot deep, looking for Ty Scott, couldn't connect.
And they've done that a couple of times on first downs. I like that. They're just going to take a shot, try to exploit that somewhat depleted secondary that's been giving up so many yards, and now they just have to try to recover. But they've got to have an answer for Shelley on the scramble, because they look like they've committed to the passing game, and they've tried to run the football, not very successfully. But when Shelley can move the ball with his legs like he's doing and extend plays, it's been dangerous for Arkansas.
There's Nick Petrino, Bobby's son, who's the offensive coordinator of the Bears. He's also got his son-in-law, Ryan, as the defensive coordinator. They've got to feel pretty good about the game plan, right? This is what you prepare all week. Yes, you're playing a top 10 team on the road, a team that just beat Cincinnati and South Carolina, but you stick to your system, your beliefs, and that's what they've done in this first quarter.
They have done that, and they get themselves in a manageable distance. It's not ideal, 3rd and 5, but this is where he's become so dangerous because they cannot contain him. They try to bring pressure and man up, but they keep missing him. It looks like they're going to do the same thing.
We will wait for the 3rd and 5
until
the start of the second quarter. Bobby Petrino, it is returned to Fayetteville. Who could have scripted this? At the end of the first quarter, FCS program, Missouri State leading the top 10 team in the country, Arkansas, 7-0. It was about 10.5 years ago that Bobby Petrino coached his last game for the Arkansas Razorbacks, the 2012 Cotton Bowl, which they won. They beat Kansas State 29-16 that day, finished in the AP poll number 5, highest since 1977. Everybody thought that Bobby Petrino would continue to rise with this program. Nobody would have seen what happened off the field coming. And I'll tell you what, in his return to Fayetteville nearly 11 years later, he's got his team playing with confidence on a 3rd and 5 gain of 45 to get into Arkansas territory. Brian Kitchen, Jay Alter with you. His team is playing fearless. They are playing excellent football against an Arkansas team that's on the back foot to start this second quarter. Shelley set to throw again, incomplete. Well, there's a flag in the secondary. Ty Scott, the intended target. Dwight McGlothern.
Pass interference on the defense, number 3. The
Called
ball
for pass interference.
Foul, automatic first down.
Yeah, he had that left arm around him on the backside, and then he came up, made a good play on the ball. I don't think that was the problem. I think it was that left arm on the backside. They got him, but man, that was a little bit nitpicky for me.
McGlothern, who's had an extremely bright start to the season, 2 interceptions through 2 games, called for the penalty there. Bears back in the red zone. Shot to the end zone, incomplete.
He had that 7 route open. Brini was back in cover 2, and he tried to take some air off of it, but it was a little bit much to the boundary. But almost exploited that weakness right there in cover 2, which is the soft spot right there.
Yeah, that should have been a touchdown.
There's nobody back there. They got to contain him after that first look.
5 comes. Shelley gets rid of it quickly. Sails incomplete. Nobody home.
It looks like they're not giving him much. They're giving him a 1-read throw, and if he doesn't have it, as we've seen earlier, he's been pulling the ball down and using his legs to extend the play. But I don't think he's gotten past his his first progression on any pass play tonight.
Missouri State 4 for 6 on third down tonight, including one that went for 45 yards earlier on this drive to keep it alive. 70,000 plus trying to will this Hogs defense for a much-needed stop. Shelley steps up, delivers a strike. Spun around, Booker didn't get to the line to gain, got about half of the yardage he needed. Jaden Johnson, excellent open field tackle.
And that's what you do. In third and long, you go to zone coverage, and then you let them throw the ball underneath, and then you crowd the football, make the play, move it to fourth down, and sure, here you're going to give up 3, but it beats 6 for sure.
Jose Pisano, the junior out of Lehi, Utah, sent down for a 28-yard attempt, trying to make it 10-0 Missouri State. And he splits the uprights confidently. 2-score game for the number 10 team in the country with Bobby Petrino back in town. Hogs have dug themselves a little bit of a hole here. Program, Missouri State up 10-0 over the top 10 team, Arkansas, in the country. Maybe this is a trap game for the Hogs. It was talked about coming into the week. You're fresh off those wins against Cincinnati and South Carolina. Then you've got an FCS program at home in Missouri State.
Top 10 ranking.
Top 10 ranking comes in. Maybe they're looking ahead too, because coming up, you've got at Texas A&M next week, and then October 1st, you have Alabama. We spoke with head coach Sam Pittman as well as Dalton Wagner, the right tackle and leader of this offense. And they said, we are not looking ahead. We are taking Missouri State just as we've treated Cincinnati and South Carolina, and yet something's not adding up, Ryan, because they're trailing 10-0.
I agree. I count 16 minutes and 31 seconds of time off this clock, and Arkansas has possessed the ball for 3 minutes and 40 seconds. Who would have ever thought that? They've got to figure out how to get some drives going, first downs, and points ultimately.
3 drives. It was a 3-and-out and then back-to-back fumbles. The last one on the goal line that prevented a touchdown. You mentioned the time of possession, under 4 minutes for Arkansas, nearly 13 minutes for Missouri State, Brian. That is just the opposite of how Arkansas has played the last couple of weeks. They have dominated the tempo, the time of possession against Cincinnati and South Carolina, but they are all out of sorts. They can't get anything going. Old reliable KJ Jefferson, a loss of 1. What is going on with this offense?
Dalton Wagner, the right tackle, said that Coach Pittman challenged them before the South Carolina game last week, them and the defensive line, to go win that game, and they did that. It looks like he needs to throw down a challenge now, because those guys, something's not going right up there. There's maybe communication. I don't know what the Missouri State is doing, but they cannot run the football like they normally do, and something's got to give.
Arkansas all out of sorts, trying to convert a 3rd and 10. Jefferson, pocket collapsing, trying to wheel away, throws on the run, incomplete. He was looking for Rocket Sanders out of the backfield. There is a flag down. Flag in the secondary. And it's against the Razorbacks. So this is going to be another 3-and-out. The first 4 drives of this game, KJ Jefferson in the offense, 3-and-out, fumble, 3-and-out. This is a disaster
offense, number 3.
For the Hogs.
That penalty is declined. 4th down.
And we saw the same thing that we've seen on the other side of the football with Shelley extending plays. Jefferson does the same thing, but they can't convert. And even if they would have, it wouldn't have mattered because the penalties, which Coach Pittman talked about, they're trying to get rid of and eliminate, but it looks like it's gotten worse.
Max Fletcher, the freshman out of Melbourne, Australia, out to punt it away. Navion Mitchell waits for it for Missouri State. Spiraling, Mitchell comes up to grab it shy of the 40. Reverses field.
He's got some space.
Turns the corner into Arkansas territory. And the Missouri State game plan continues to go to perfection. It was the punter, Max Fletcher, that finally got to him. Really solid return. And Missouri State will have the ball in Hogs territory, up 10-0 when we come back.
With Petrino about his team coming into this hostile environment, he told us that all his team has to do is remember what they've done all week long. Do not be easily intimidated by the fact that all of the people in this building are pretty much against you. They are following their technique. They know what they're doing. They've got a 10-0 lead over Arkansas. I'm sure Petrino is feeling pretty happy right now.
Tara Talmadge down on the sideline. Brian Kitchen, Jay Alter with you up in the booth. Bobby Petrino, he knows what it's like to play in Razorback Stadium when you have 70,000 plus behind you. The last time Arkansas was in the top 10 playing in this stadium, Bobby Petrino was the head coach, and now he's come in and he has flipped the script. A 10-0 lead for Missouri State, playing with that confidence Tara was just talking about. Opening up the passing game again. They're getting everything they want through the air. The tight end, Lance Mason, weaving his way all the way to the 25-yard line, gain of 20.
Just a beautiful execution. A little half roll back to your tight end who's left uncovered. It was a zone coverage, but it slid with the slide of the quarterback when Shelley moved to their left, and they forgot about the big guy. It's kind of hard when you're 240 pounds, but they lost sight of him.
Bobby Petrino and Missouri State, they've taken the crowd out of this game, a crowd that came in loud and proud. Defense trying to wake him back up here. Great tackle by Bumper Poole to stop Jacardier Wright from getting free.
And we had talked about him earlier, but he was leading the defense on the field a minute ago, trying to get them jacked up. His defensive coordinator, Barry Odom, talked about as solid a guys he's ever had to coach. And he said, if he's not productive on that field, if Bumper's not productive, then I'm not doing my job. And as of now, I don't know. I'm a little between.
Knocking on the doorstep of the red zone. Here's Jason Shelley. Throws to the end zone, incomplete. A yard out in front of Jihad Booker. You love the confidence, though, Brian, that they continue to take shots at this secondary.
Without a doubt, and Shelley has missed some throws. We'll give him that. But the reality is, he got beat. They got beat. Arkansas was beat on that inside slot receiver right over the top of Jaden Johnson. And Booker did a good job, just didn't get the football.
First down marker at the 15-yard line. Missouri State 4 of 7 on third down today. Shelley steps up, trying to get the first down with his legs, spins out of a Bumper Poole tackle, dives to the end zone. Touchdown, Missouri State. This home crowd is stunned. Jason Shelley, 24 yards to the house. An FCS program from Springfield, Missouri, making the 120-mile trip and playing without fear.
And I feel like a broken record, but it's the same thing. Shelley extends the play, they miss a tackle, and there's a big play out of it. They've got to figure this out.
In his return to Fayetteville, 10.5 years after he was dismissed as the head coach of Arkansas, Bobby Petrino and Jason Shelley have Missouri State up 17-0. Take another look. Air Shelley bears up big. Football final. The guys will take you through the biggest stories of the day, break down all the games coming up after South Florida and Florida SEC Network I'll tell you what, the biggest stories right here in Fayetteville. Missouri State and Bobby Petrino, a 17-0 lead against number 10 Arkansas. And look, rankings aside, Brian, eye test-wise, Arkansas looked like one of the best teams in the country. You beat Cincinnati, you beat South Carolina, you look good doing it offensively today. 2 punts, 2 fumbles.
2 punts, 2 fumbles, 3 penalties. It's just not what we expected here tonight. But we have to credit Missouri State. They're the ones on the other side making these things happen. But Arkansas needs to stick with the game plan, but they've got to be more productive, especially up front. You got 4 guys up in front who have 107 starts between them on the right side of that offensive line, and they don't look like they've started a day in their life.
They've got to get Rocket Sanders going. Only 5 carries for 12 yards. Jefferson throws a dart. That'll wake this offense up a little. Finds Matt Landers for a gain of 20.
It's a nice, good throw in zone coverage. He waits for the opening, takes the shot. They need to continue that, but not get too greedy too quick.
Finally, we have liftoff. Rocket Sanders into the Missouri State secondary. On his 6th carry of the game, takes it for 27 yards after only having 12 on the night.
And that's exactly the opposite of how they operate. They usually run the football to set up the passing game. We see that at the start of the series. The passing game set up the running game, took advantage of it.
And finally getting into this up-tempo that wears defenses down. Sanders spinning his way inside the 15. Another first down pickup. Offensive coordinator Kendall Briles, orchestrator of this hurry-up offense that has caused defenses fits early on this season. They've struggled today, finally getting their rhythm. Right back to Sanders, 3rd carry in a row. Just shy of the 5-yard line.
And Kendall Briles is high on these guys. He loves the chemistry of all these guys, how they want to go out and try to win football games. We haven't seen that a lot earlier, but now he's kind of getting a feel with what they're able to do and sticking back to the run game, which is what they do best.
Jefferson keeps it. Met at the 5-yard line. Couldn't turn the corner. Trey Knox, the tight end.
And Knox is the guy, he's their most experienced pass catcher, 62 catches in his career.
3rd and 2. Arkansas needs a score. They go to Sanders, churning his legs forward. I think he just got there. Todd Chambers tied him up. Needed 2 yards to move the chains.
And that's twice they've got a first down inside the 5. The last time it ended with a fumble right at the goal line. They're certainly hoping that that's not the case in this series.
They lost the ball on a fumble at the 1-yard line. Jefferson throws to the back of the end zone, incomplete. Looking for Jaden Hazelwood.
And I'm not going to tear that call apart, but it's early downs. I like that. You're on the goal line. You got 3 downs to get it in. A little play action, I like that. But at the same time, you got down here running the football except on that opening pass. And let's just continue with that and put it straight up the middle and kind of get some confidence, those guys up front and that offense as a whole.
Hazelwood in motion. Give it to Sanders, untouched into the end zone. Exactly what Arkansas needed. Eight-play, 75-yard drive capped off by Rocket Sanders. 3rd touchdown of the season, and boy, do these home fans need that.
And if this is the first drive of the game, I don't think we're surprised. And I don't think we're really celebrating that much, but the fact of the matter is, this is the 5th drive of the game. And they're finally hitting pay dirt, so it's a little bit needs to be celebrated here because something wasn't right early on, and they're going to hope that it continues as is because they certainly don't want to revert back to what they did in the first 4 series for sure.
Rocket Sanders, the touchdown. He had 55 yards on that drive after only 12 on the previous 4 drives. Arkansas finally made it look easy. They're still down 10 as we near the midway point of the 2nd quarter. After falling down 17-0, Arkansas finally responds with a touchdown through Rocket Sanders. It's a run game that's anchored them this season. And Brian Kitchen, Jay Alter with you. Brian, you were talking about it earlier. This offensive line really sets the tone, and we finally saw it in that 5th drive of the game.
Yeah, and we get a look at the starts across the board with the exception of Jones out on the edge. He's only had 2. That's about 109 starts, I count. But those guys at the end of that drive, they all came together, were high-fiving each other, didn't chase the running back or anybody else. They were looking to each other because they know because of their ability to work together, and Dalton Wagner talked about it earlier. These guys are friends, not just on the field, but off the field. They hang out together, they go drinking together. They're a tight group, and they needed to come together for that Arkansas offense.
There's Cody Kennedy, the offensive line coach. Sam Pittman spent much of his career as an offensive line coach, now the head coach here at Arkansas. It's no surprise that the offensive line plays such a big part for this Hogs team. So how will Missouri State respond to the Arkansas touchdown? The Bears jumped out to a 17-0 lead that nobody could have seen coming. You know, it's an FCS program, yes, but they are legit national title contenders in FCS football. But to come into a full house here in Fayetteville, SEC school, top 10 in the nation in Arkansas, and play as well as they have in this first half has been something to watch. Shelley buys himself time, now tucks and runs. He's a yard shy of that first down marker, needed 3, got 2.
And I love how they come out on that second down. They put in 2 tight ends to the left side and look like they're going to run the football, but they don't. They play action it, roll him out to the near side. He doesn't get the first down. He doesn't get the throw off. It was a good job in that secondary of covering everybody up, but I like the fact he's got his big tight ends on the field, and he's not scared to be able to put him a part of the passing game.
After the Arkansas touchdown, the crowd's back in it. Missouri State 5 for 8 on 3rd down today. With a head of steam, Jacardier Wright plows forward for the first down, gain of 4.
And that's a statement play right there. You're up 10 points in this ball game, 3rd and short. We talked about the mantra of this team and how they like to get down in the dirt. Missouri State won that one.
Are you surprised how well this Bears team is doing in the trenches, both sides of the ball?
I am. I'm shocked that Arkansas cannot move the football on the ground as well as in this first few series, but even more so that they're having such success in the air, this Missouri State offense throwing the football on them.
And running the football as Wright finds a hole again. Jacardier Wright's been a reliable back. Another gain of 4. I mean, this is not the game that anybody anticipated. You thought if Missouri State was going to win this game, it would be trick plays and deep shots and
and then they've had the formula, a couple of turnovers.
True.
And the penalties and some mistakes. You know, they've got a little bit of help, but the reality is they're the ones creating those turnovers. They're the ones creating those penalties in that process. So it's not all just Arkansas not doing, it's also Missouri State doing.
They've dominated the time of possession as well. Have had the ball more than 8 minutes longer than Arkansas has. That time, strong gang tackle from the Hogs defensively. Cam Ball first to it.
That's tough sledding in the middle right there with those big boys. Those 300-pounders, Gregory and Nichols, in the center of that defensive front 7. Yeah, we get a weight comparison of those two right there. Big boys up and down in the trenches there. That's why they put them in the hands in the dirt.
3rd and 5. Hogs send 5. Shelley pump fakes, then throws incomplete. Intended receiver Ty Scott, the transfer from Central Michigan.
Wow, if Brini Latavius right there, number 7, would have just played the ball, he would have had an easy INT and might have walked into the end zone, but he was playing the receiver, thinking he was going to grab it, and it went right through both of them. Well thrown ball, should have been caught, but
Bryce Stevens calls for the fair catch just inside the 20. That's where KJ Jefferson and this Hogs offense will take over. See the marching band getting ready for halftime. You can watch their performance live. The Razorback Marching Band, the best in sight and sound on SEC Network Plus. You can start streaming now on the ESPN app.
And this is a monumental drive for Arkansas. Can they follow it up and get back on track and not just get a touchdown, but just be able to move the football, get some first downs, and then think about that touchdown field goal at the other end if they have some success early.
Rocket Sanders was the go-to guy on the last drive. 55 yards, play action. Jefferson delivers a perfect ball right on the money to Jaden Hazelwood. Bounced out of bounds in Bears territory. Gain of 29 for the transfer from Oklahoma.
Yeah, he had Hazelwood on the deep crosser, and he had Knox, his tight end, a little bit more shallow, and he pulled those two defenders up and opened it up for Hazelwood on the back end, and Jefferson did a good job of seeing it.
Jefferson, plenty of time in the pocket. Incomplete, just out of the hands of Trey Knox, the tight end.
A little wheel route by him out on the edge. Just a little bit too much on that football. But it was a good run, a little out and up. Big guy who converted over to tight end last year. Put on 30 pounds in the offseason to play the position. He's still learning how to block a little bit, but he's a very dangerous pass catcher, as I talked about earlier.
Two in the backfield for Jefferson, one on each hip. Gave it off to Hazelwood. Gain of 9. Will bring up a 3rd and 1. You know, the one thing that Arkansas did on their last drive that they had failed to earlier is they got into that up tempo. You see Jefferson hurry everybody to the line. This is when they're at their best, when they can wear teams down with that tempo offense. We saw it against Cincinnati week 1, South Carolina last weekend. And late in this second quarter, they're starting to exert their will with that tempo offense. They move the chains there on a 3rd and 2.
And the great thing about tempo is that it puts the defense on their heels, and they've got to guess. It simplifies the offense also, which is probably why they've had success. It's just pretty much up the middle.
Jefferson, clean pocket. Nobody open, though. Offensive line can't buy him all day. Finally gets rid of it. Skying up in the air to make the catch, Warren Thompson. But he did not get his foot down in time. Incomplete, 2nd and 10 upcoming.
And that Missouri State defense, they love man coverage. They love to man up and bring pressure. And they were manned up there. And every single Arkansas receiver, there's 4 of them out in the route, were covered up. And Jefferson had nowhere to go with that football. They got to stick with the run game.
Instead, they go to the air. Jefferson, incomplete, and that was right into the hands of Warren Thompson. Should have been an easy catch. Instead, another drop.
Yeah, transfer from Florida State. He's getting better every day, according to his head coach. That's a frustrating one right there, because that head moves before that ball is secured. That's a basic fundamental of catching it. But it's easy to do when you're out there in the middle of the field and your adrenaline's pumping.
That's the type of night it's been for Arkansas and Bobby Petrino's return to Fayetteville. 3rd and 10. Jefferson in trouble. Down he goes. And now a decision to be made on 4th down.
And again, 3rd and long, and they go man coverage. They only rush 4, and they're spying Jefferson back there, which plays out well because he's got nowhere to go with the football. But they're going to roll the dice here on 4th down and maybe try to get it offsides, but it looks like they're going to go ahead and go for it.
Sam Pittman leads the offense on the field for a 4th and 9. First down marker at the 30-yard line, trying to keep this drive alive with a little more than 2:30 left in the half. They're going to run the football on 4th and 9. That offensive line trying to push Sanders. The crowd boos. Turnover on downs. That's a questionable call on 4th and 9. 2nd and 9, sure, but...
Yeah, can I give a wow on that one? Golly, what was that? I don't understand. You trying to chew some clock up?
No, the clock stops on a turnover on down, so
Well,
you're not even doing that.
That makes zero sense. I don't understand that one. Is that a brain fart? Is that something you think? I don't know. I mean,
Sam Pittman had 3 timeouts too, so if they were having trouble getting the call in, could have burned one of those ahead of a 4th and 9.
Yeah, you'd think so. That would have been a better option, looks like. But man, that's I don't know how to legitimize that one. I don't know.
Well, ball back to Missouri State. Bobby Petrino's team has come into Fayetteville and taken control of this game. A 10-point lead, and they can add to it at the end of this second quarter. Flag comes in before the snap. False start against the Bears.
Please reset the game clock to 2:27, 2:27. Thank you.
Give credit to Bobby Petrino and this Missouri State team, but you wonder if Arkansas spent too much time this week reading the press clippings, all the praise, team back in the top 10, playing at home for the first time in a decade. Defense bows up there. That's exactly what they needed. Jaden Johnson on a safety blitz. Loss of 5.
They only bring 4 right there, but there's nobody on the edge for Jaden Johnson. Good job securing the ball carrier. They've missed those early on, and it's caused big plays in the other direction, but great job wrapping him up, bringing him down, putting him back in some long yardage now.
Arkansas does have 3 timeouts at their disposal. Decided not to stop the clock. Quick hitter. Wiggling out of it is Jihad Booker. Should have been a loss of 2 instead of gain of 9. Sam Pittman does elect to use his timeout. First
Timeout,
and 3.
Arkansas. That is
Ahead of this third down.
I like the quick throw out to the side, and even though that should have been stopped right there, it wasn't. It got him a handful of yards, puts him in a 3rd and 10, which is a lot more manageable than a 3rd and 19. But nonetheless, it looks like Arkansas is going to get the ball back if they can shut him down here. But they've done a better job than they did early of containing Shelley, who's done a really good job of extending plays. They've had 5 completions of 15-plus yards in this first half, and a lot of that is because he's been extending plays with his legs, and the coverage breaks down, and he makes a really good throw and really cuts into that Arkansas defense. They've not been playing with the same confidence they have in the first couple of weeks for sure.
And for Missouri State, 6 of 10 on 3rd down tonight, 3rd and 10. I think a lot of teams up 10 on the road against a top 10 team would run this ball, force Arkansas to call a timeout. The way they've been playing fearlessly, don't be surprised if Shelley is going to throw this football. Back to pass, pressure coming. Dumps it to Jacardier Wright. Breaks a tackle, stays on his feet. Weaves out of a second tackle before he's pushed out of bounds. Gain of 5. The only bad part of that play for Wright is that he went out of bounds. So Arkansas still has those 2 timeouts. They're going to get the ball back after this Missouri State punt.
Yeah, he gave him a free timeout on that one. That's one his coaches are well aware of. I don't know that he is. Got to keep that clock running.
There's a flag down before Grant Burkett could get it away cleanly against Missouri State.
False start on the offense, number 12. 5-yard penalty. It remains 4th down.
So as well as the Bears have played as major underdogs coming into Razorback Stadium, they're going to punt the ball back.
Please reset the game clock to
1:27 left in the second quarter. Arkansas with 2 timeouts. That's plenty of time to go down and make this a 1-score game.
And that would be ideal for Sam Pittman. But it's not a guarantee. I mean, they haven't done much this game offensively except for that one drive where they had that nice touchdown resulting in it.
128.
But it would be a breath of relief for sure. But it seems like this game has kind of leveled out just a bit.
Bryce Stevens, dangerous return man, calls for the fair catch as he backs up to his own 15. Look at KJ Jefferson and this Arkansas offense go 85 yards in the final minute 20 to breathe some life back into this game. Who would have thought that they'd be down 10 nearing halftime?
And this is what you work on every Friday. You work on a 2-minute drill. That's what you do. And you do it every Friday, and you try to perfect it, but it's in practice. There's very few opportunities in games to do this, to be able to try to manage clock very quickly and get points out of it. And they got to go.
Bobby Petrino's defense trying to hold Arkansas to just 7 in this first half. A Razorbacks offense has been on fire to start the season. That's more like it for the Hogs. Matt Landers breaks free, gain of 45.
Beautiful ball right over the top. Not much to the route, just going vertical. And a nice little throw and catch.
Jefferson to throw again, clean pocket, delivers it right on the money. Here's Hazelwood into the end zone, touchdown, Arkansas. The Hogs go 2 plays, 85 yards in 16 seconds.
Wide open on the 7 route out in the little soft spot of that cover 2 zone, and no one was there. Very good execution, well designed. Drew it up, called it up perfect for Kendall Briers, that offensive coordinator for Arkansas. I'm sure he and Coach Pittman are relieved by the outcome of that drive.
Relieved, and they must be thinking, where was that all night long? Jaden Hazelwood, 38-yard touchdown. The Hogs go 85 yards in 2 plays. It only took 16 seconds. Wow. Quick strike right before halftime. Exactly what Arkansas needed.
Exactly. Before that drive, I was trying to calculate the yardage, which was pretty simple. It was 100 minus 15, but I couldn't put it together. But they made it real simple when they scored on the 85-yard 2-play drive. That solved my problem real quick in 2 plays and not a whole lot of time. But man, you wonder where that's been, what's going on. It's like, that's not how they usually go. They usually roll with that run game, slow and steady. 2 plays, 2 passes, great little touchdown, 2 touchdowns on the half. You would have never thought that after those first 4 drives for sure.
And that touchdown not only makes it a 1-score game, but brings the crowd back into it. When Missouri State got up 17-0, this place was lifeless. They couldn't believe it. Now 14 unanswered right before halftime. Missouri State, how aggressive would you be, Brian? Up 3, 64 seconds left in the half. You have 3 timeouts.
Well, if I'm Bobby Petrino, I know what they're going to do. They're going to try to score points. They're going to try to put the ball in the air and try to make something happen. I would too, with how Kendall has played early in the half, or Shelley has played earlier in the half. I would do the same thing. The guy's got good skills, extends plays, but we haven't seen any of that late in this game and late in this half. But yeah, he's going to roll the dice, I think, and try to continue to get some yards and work that passing game.
It's worth noting Arkansas gets the football to start this 3rd quarter. Go to the ground game. Cartier right, couldn't break free, only a gain of 3.
And they're going to be content just to take it into halftime.
Well, I think if you told Bobby Petrino you're going to be leading by 3
Without
on the
a doubt.
road against a top 10 team, he'd take it.
Without a doubt. But I thought for sure they were going to continue to try to press the pedal, see if they could get something out of it.
Now they've been aggressive all half long. Looking to go to the air. Shelley, nobody was open. Takes it himself. Picks up the first down. That'll stop the clock with 27 seconds left in the half. Drew Sanders on the tackle. Bobby Petrino burns a timeout. He's got all 3 to use.
And that's how you usually begin a 2-minute drill. You run the draw, see how much you can get.
Timeout, Missouri State. This is our first charge timeout of the half. This will be a 30-second timeout. Timer, please reset the game clock to 27 seconds. 2-7.
This is an Arkansas secondary missing 3 big players, Jalen Catalon, Ladarius Bishop, and Miles Slusher. I wouldn't be surprised if Bobby Petrino decides to dial up a deep shot.
And for sure, we talked about that depleted secondary and how much yards they've given up in the first few ball games, and they've been exploited a little bit here in the first half. A lot more than I ever thought they would be, but they've been unable to contain Shelley moving the football with his legs to extend those plays, and that's been the difference. And the missed tackles obviously have hurt them as well. Things have not been going in their way, but they're starting to right the ship, especially offensively. And defensively, they haven't given up much in the last quarter or so.
Shelley, dangerous pass. There's the flag in the secondary. Arkansas can't believe it.
That's a bad call. He's playing the football. He's coming straight to the football. McLaughlin right over the top, trying to get to the football, and he gets manhandled by Booker.
There's no foul on the play.
They heard you, Brian.
That's a good call. That's exactly right. He's playing the football. You can't fault him for that. He comes straight over the top of the receiver playing the football.
Yeah, if anything, the 2 Arkansas players collided in the secondary. So they picked up the flag. Shelley can't believe it. That would have put the ball in Arkansas territory. Shelley in trouble. Down he goes. Jordan Dominic. A burst of speed and a loss of 6 on the sack.
Now that was a hit right there. This guy, SEC D Lineman of the Week against Cincinnati in the opener. Started for Georgia Tech last year, 14 games over 4 years. And takes advantage of that one right there. Bam!
Big hit.
Hello.
4th sack of the night for Arkansas on a defense that went down 17-0 in this game. Razorbacks have responded with 14 unanswered, but the story at the half, no doubt about it, it is first trip back to Razorback Stadium. Bobby Petrino has the lead at halftime. He's down with Tara.
Coach, your team coming into this, you said that you didn't want them to be intimidated by this stage. They don't look intimidated at all. How pleased are you with their performance so far?
Yeah, we're playing with great effort, and guys are competing really, really hard. We're executing well on offense. We were stopping them on D. We gave them some easy ones. They're a good team. We're going to have to play really hard the second half.
It looks like the Hogs are starting to battle back a little bit. How do you maintain the lead?
Yeah, we got to move the ball on offense and keep their offense on the sideline. We did a good job of that the first quarter and a half. You saw how capable they are of making big plays.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Razorback fans, are you ready for the best?
Now the first time back in 10.5 seasons after his unceremonious exit, Bobby Petrino has come into Fayetteville. And his FCS program, Missouri State, controls a halftime lead, 17-14. We've got a fun second half coming your way. Here in Fayetteville as Arkansas trails Missouri State 17-14 at halftime. Tara Talmadge just spoke with Hogs head coach Sam Pittman.
Well, Pittman told me that one of the keys to winning this game is going to be running the ball. This team usually does pretty well with that. However, they didn't in the first half of this game, so that is the big key for them moving forward. However, they also need to put some pressure on Missouri State. They didn't do a great job of that. They have to contain the quarterback Jason Shelley. So those are the two big goals for Arkansas coming into the second half of this game.
In speaking with Sam Pittman yesterday, he told us that this team was not looking ahead to Texas A&M and Alabama, who they face in the next 2 weeks. And if any players did slip in that first half, you could tell they kind of turned the corner in the later part of that second quarter, 14 unanswered, and the Hogs will start with the football in this third quarter, an opportunity to take their first lead of the night.
And they did it a lot different than they normally do. They're normally slow and steady, and then last drives, especially that two-play drive, that was all through the air, and just not something they're used to doing, especially early on in the first part of this season of playing catch-up for sure. And they're hoping to get back to their normal selves in this half when they get the ball first and use that run game that we talked about. We harped on so much early on, which didn't seem to show up until late in that first scoring drive they had. But they're hoping to get back on track here real quick and get back to the ways that they're used to, of being able to be comfortable, to sit steady, making first downs and scoring points.
A.J. Green and Harper Cole await the kickoff, touchback. Now for an FCS team, Missouri State and Bobby Petrino coming in to Fayetteville. First 22 minutes could not have gone any better. Opened up a 17-0 lead. Like Kendall Briles, the offensive coordinator, and K.J. Jefferson, the quarterback of the Hogs, finally flipped the switch. Back-to-back touchdown drives to end the half. Can they pick up where they left off in this third quarter?
And Kendall Briles talked about this defense for Missouri State, how they can create problems and bring pressure with multiple blitzes and that man coverage, and they did that early on in that first half, and see what they can do here in the start of the second.
Rocket Sanders finally got going after a really slow start. He broke out for 70 yards in that first half, looking for his third straight 100-plus yard rushing performance to start the season. Movement on that offensive line before the 2nd and 5 snap.
That negates that first down.
On the offense, number 78, 5-yard penalty, still second down.
But something we hadn't seen early on in this game is that O-line moving forward and creating these huge gaps for those Arkansas running backs. And we saw that on the first play, but obviously it's all taken away with a silly mistake, a pre-snap penalty.
For an offensive line unit that's very veteran and sets the tone for this team. Penalty backs him up to 2nd and 10. Completion on 2nd down to Matt Landers. Von Young immediately in on the scene to only make the Landers catch go for 6.
And Landers, along with Hazelwood, Coach Pittman talked about, those guys are NFL-type guys. Big bodies, a lot of length, can do it all out on the perimeter.
Third down to start this third quarter. Jefferson darts it in. Goes to Warren Thompson, who makes his first grab of the game. Moves the chains on a gain of 6.
That's great patience by Jefferson for sure. We look at the drive chart from the first half, and those 2 fumbles in the second and third drive, they really cost them. And then the defense giving up the points is what made it kind of double up. Made it even worse.
That final drive of the first half, 2 plays, 85 yards, was the shot in the arm that the Hogs have needed. Sanders weaving through traffic. A very patient runner takes it for 5 yards. If you're an Arkansas running back and you take that number 5 jersey, that means a lot here at Fayetteville. The number that Darren McFadden wore in his time playing for the Hogs. The sophomore has really grown into that number.
Last couple of games had 100-plus yards, and last year they had running back by committee. There was 3 of them over 500 yards and 5 touchdowns. And losing one to graduation and another one to injury, he's kind of taken the mantle of that entire run game on his shoulders.
Jefferson, 3rd and 3, crossing route. It's bobbled and intercepted. In and out of the hands of Trey Knox. And it bounces right to Taj Chambers. The 3rd turnover of the night for this Arkansas offense, and Missouri State has great field position.
Now that's just That's just a bad play. That ball is right there. He turns his palms to the quarterback, but doesn't reverse. He should create the V in the front of him, get his hands out in front of him. Instead, he waited for the football. And we talked about him. We sung his praises in the first half. He's their leading returning receiver with 62 grabs coming into this football game, and that just can't happen, especially with an INT on the other end.
Second drive of the night, and it starts in Arkansas territory for the Bears. Shelley kept it, pitches it, a broken tackle. Latulis churning his feet forward, finally shoved out of bounds inside the 35, gain of 15.
That's two fundamental misses on that interception with the dropped ball, and then an open field tackle that gives him another 10 yards when he misses that one. That's just not the way that this half needed to begin for the Razorbacks. Even though they had all the momentum in the end of the second half, looks like they're losing it rather quickly.
Running the football. Manning's first carry doesn't go for much. And Brian, you mentioned that word momentum. Arkansas definitely had it. 14 unanswered to end the first half. They start with the football. Commit their third turnover of the night. Missouri State, a great opportunity to make them pay and gain control of this game again. A team coming out of the Missouri Valley playing without fear on the road against a top 10 team. $70,000 screaming at him. Shelley had happy feet and threw it away.
Nowhere to escape there. The pocket was well intact. Great job of those Arkansas defenders of containing him and kind of sitting back and not trying to over pursue, because I think that's what happened early in the first half, is they kept flushing him out of the pocket, and that's when he did most of his damage.
6 of 11 on third down tonight, but they failed to convert their last 3.
And they're manned up across the board. There's 5 receivers, empty backfield. They got a safety sitting in the middle.
Pressure coming. Hogs send 5. Shelley gets rid of it quickly. First down, there's a flag. But as it stands on a 3rd and 9, the Bears got 12. This is going against Missouri State. Ty Scott on a push-off.
Yeah, he shoved him on that out route. You don't see that very often, but those defenders, I'm sure they like
Pass interference on the offense, number 19. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay, third down.
I caught it just a hair late, and I saw him falling back. Hudson Clark, number 17. And I couldn't figure out if he had lost his footing or not, but obviously, when you're shoved back on your heels, it's a little bit difficult to stay on coverage.
Bobby Petrino giving the line judge an earful over on that visitor sideline. Coached for 4 years on the home sideline. He knows what it's like to have a team in the top 10, the fans behind you, a full voice in Razorback Stadium. And now he's getting a taste of what it's like to be on the visitor sideline.
We're going to see Arkansas probably rush 3 and drop 8 and just try to minimize this and get them to 4th down.
False start. Left tackle Landon Beebe jumped early. Makes a 3rd and 24, 3rd and 29. And you can credit this false start to the crowd.
If you had to put this on a percentage scale of completion, you've got to be really, really, really low. And I'm sure Arkansas is banking on, they got everybody deep about 20 yards back, just making sure they get the 4th down.
Play action, pressure coming. Selden Manning takes it back into Arkansas territory. Big hit after the gain of 10.
And on the other side of the football from Missouri State, you just cannot have those penalties. Those are huge and cost them. Really, they were really in field goal range right there for a minute.
Petrino's fired up about it.
And he should be. But that was not a bad call. That was a good call, and I'm sure every coach is going to defend his players, but Go watch that one on tape. Guess who's going to get the back end of that one? The guy doing the shoving.
Well, the Bears, after getting the interception, fail to cash in. No points to show for it. Punt of 37 yards, pins Arkansas within their own 10-yard line. They'll have the ball when we come back. Very quiet on the campus of Arkansas because all the noise is coming from Razorback Stadium. Missouri State jumped out to a 17-0 lead in the opening 22 minutes of this game. Arkansas has battled back with back-to-back touchdowns for Sam Pittman's team, trying to keep this strong start to the season alive. They've got the football inside their own 10-yard line. Here's Rocket Sanders, a burst of speed. He's got the first down and more. He sets the tone for this Arkansas offense. Did it there, took it for a big gain of 14.
We see why he has that nickname, because when he has that opening, he just shoots out of there.
Up tempo. Jefferson delivers a strike right on the money to Hazelwood, absorbs a big hit to knock him back, only a gain of 9. Hazelwood's a 5-star wide receiver coming out of high school, transfer from Oklahoma. He's going to be an NFL pick. What a weapon for this Arkansas offense as they continue the up-tempo. This is the best they've looked all night, Brian.
Well, we're sitting up here, and I'm thinking Arkansas's leading this football game, but guess what? They're not. But it seems like they are because of whatever is happening on the field is all in their favor. But they're still trailing this game by 3 points, so they've got to execute and finish out this drive.
Jefferson, another quick hitter, finds Landers, breaks 2 tackles into Missouri State territory. Gain of 18 to move the sticks.
What a target to have. 6'5" body out there. That's tough to miss that guy. I mean, and he's got all the time in the world, no pressure, beautiful execution. Bringing it down, making 2 or 3 miss, which is the problem Arkansas's had early. Now it seemed to shift it to Missouri State. But great route running, execution, and making 3 guys miss to gain another 10 yards, 15 yards on the play.
Farron Mana Lele Ua down on the field for Missouri State. He's the senior leader of this defense, getting attended to, so we'll step aside. Arkansas driving, looking for the lead.
Time for the Coca-Cola Arkansas tailgater of the game. Easy search around the entire stadium for the best tailgate party with the winners receiving a party pack and visit a Razorback and Coca-Cola branded food and more. Let's hear it for each winner. Force. Force stands for boisterous, outrageous, Arkansas Razorbacks shining. Ah, yes, it's all Coca-Cola.
Well, I think it's a big deal. I do. Everybody always looks at the negative all the time, you know, and I tweeted out that we were number 10, and then I got some responses, well, it doesn't matter. Well, I ain't tweeting it out to you guys or a 50-year-old man. I'm trying to use it as recruiting.
That was Sam Pittman, Arkansas head coach, fired up, or as fired up as Sam Pittman gets during his midweek press conference after he got a ton of blowback back from Arkansas fans after he tweeted out, we're top 10, something that hasn't happened around here in a long time. First time the Razorbacks are playing a home game as a top 10 team in a decade. He was shocked that the response was, well, it doesn't matter. Only matters how you finish the season. And maybe this game is a good example of that. But he said it helps recruiting when you can put out, hey, come to a top 10 program. Hogs jumping to life on this drive. Hazelwood wrapped up, trying to take their first lead of the game after Missouri State jumped out to a 17-0 lead early.
Coach Pittman talked about his only reason for having a Twitter account is because of recruiting. And I asked him, what's Twitter? I'm just joking. But that's what he said. It's all about recruiting. I understand the blowback, and all week everybody's talking about possible upsets because of what happened last week against A&M with App State and Marshall at Notre Dame. And
3rd and 4. Jefferson picks out the tight end, Trey Knox. That's just the perfect play on a 3rd and 4. Get exactly what you need to keep the drive alive.
And a good little redemption for their tight end, Trey Knox. Who had that bobble in the last possession with that interception turned up.
Jefferson, pump fake, evades the pressure, throws on the run to the end zone, incomplete. Over the head of Matt Landers, who had good positioning in the back of that end zone.
And a good job by Missouri State of containing him and not letting him out of the pocket. He did the right thing, putting it where only his guy could get to it. But this is where it gets tough, sledding down in the red zone. But because you have that running game, that play action becomes monumental down here to open up passing windows.
Ninth play of the drive. Flag down, movement before the snap. See the frustration from Rocket Sanders.
Ball start on the offense, number 70, 5-yard penalty. It remains 2nd down.
Luke Jones, the left tackle who jumped early.
That's the 5-year senior who's only got a few starts under his belt. That's a costly mistake, where these yards are hard to get in that red zone area.
Second and 15 after the penalty. Jefferson surveying the field, nobody's open. Finally has to fling it. Incomplete. Warren Thompson was the nearest wide receiver.
Yeah, they were in cover 5, which is 2 safeties deep, and they were man underneath. And every time, I shouldn't say every time, but a lot of the time that they decide to go to that man coverage, which they do a lot. They've been doing that a lot throughout this season. They love to be that aggressive defense. They usually bring pressure, but they were sitting back with 2 safeties deep, and they had everybody covered up. Kudos to that Mississippi State secondary. Missouri State secondary.
3rd and 15. Jefferson decides to tuck and run, trying to pick up the first down with his feet. That's an easy call, horse collar. And this will be a first down for Arkansas. KJ Jefferson steps up and makes a big play, individual effort. That's as easy a horse collar call as you'll see.
Illegal horse collar tackle on the defense, number 25. That penalty will be enforced half the distance to the goal from the end of the run. That carries an automatic.
That's a great pickup on 3rd and 15.
There we see it. We haven't seen Jefferson getting out of the pocket much and moving the ball that much with his legs in this football game. Prior to that, only a handful of yards on the ground.
Inside the red zone, looking for their first lead of the night. Stood up. No room to run.
That looked like he almost had a magnet to the back of the Trey Knox's head, the tight end. It looked like he had it inside wide open, but he kind of got stuck, leaning a little bit too much out on his toes, and he couldn't redirect and missed his whole opportunity on the inside.
AJ Green gets the carry again. Not much going on that run either. Down Missouri State lineman. Now this has taken Arkansas out of their tempo twice on this drive. First it was the linebacker Manalele Ua who went down. Now a defensive lineman goes down. At Arkansas, they want to continue to run the ball, exert their will. Instead, we step aside for another timeout ahead of a critical 3rd and 7. Little more than 6 minutes left in this third quarter. Brian Kitchen, Jay Alter with you. Tara Talmadge down on the sideline. Missouri State clinging to a 17-14 lead after the Bears jumped out to a 17-0 advantage. And upcoming, the biggest play of the game thus far, a 3rd and 8 on a drive that started on Arkansas's own 7-yard line. 5 first downs. They've gone 84 yards on 12 plays. Sanders back into the game in the backfield. KJ Jefferson surveying the field. Offensive line's giving them all day, and Jefferson can't do anything with it. Overthrew Trey Knox in the back of the end zone.
I just don't like the call. You're going to drop back a quarterback who has the ability to move the ball with his legs if he needs to, but in the red zone, there's the windows that are a lot tighter, and it's very difficult when you let them know you're going to throw the football. I'd like to have seen them do a little play action and move him and give him a run past option on the edge. It seemed like they had kind of rolled the dice a little bit too much. Low percentage call on that, but get 3 and tie it up.
Here's the sophomore Cam Little. Confident kick right through to tie it at 17. 13-play, 84-yard drive that the Hogs settle for a field goal. This game is tied for the first time since it was 0-0. Sam Pittman's team's tied it up at 17, trying to keep this perfect season alive. Missouri State giving them everything they can handle. And it's never too early to take a look at the upcoming college football season. Didn't we just start this one? We've got our SEC Now football schedule release for the 2023 season, Tuesday, 7 Eastern on SEC Network and the ESPN app. They'll break down each school and look at the best games for next year. This is just week 3, and we're giving you next year.
Hey, we're looking for things to talk about. We got so much to talk about. How are you going to add that to the schedule? The schedule for the schedule. Man, I don't know.
Tied at 17. This is not the game that Arkansas expected when you got a team out of the Missouri Valley, FCS opponent Missouri State, after you do so well to handle Cincinnati and South Carolina. But they've tied this game up. What has impressed you most about Arkansas since going down 17-0 early?
Well, I think just hitting the reset button and doing what they do well. And the funny thing is, I like this. I like the fact that you have to play a tight ball game against a team you didn't think. You look at last week and the upset of Texas A&M and Notre Dame and Alabama squeaking one against Texas. Those are good things. You want to be on the winning end of them, sure.
Right.
But at the same time, sometimes it makes your guys have to get slapped in the face and realize, it's a long season. You can't take anybody for granted. So I think it's a good thing. So now they get to play 4 quarters tonight. And I know we weren't counting on that, but they're going to get it. And hopefully they end up on the right end of it.
Play clock down to 2. Shelley keeps it. Pressure coming, slings it. For the first down and more, Jacardier Wright continues to be a threat in the passing game out of the backfield, gain of 19.
And that's a little glimpse of what we saw, not as elaborate with Shelley and his wheels, but he extends the play. And it's just it's an element you can't account for. You can try, but you just can't. And you get a couple of missed tackles as they had early in this game. Big plays result. And that was a big one right there.
Shelley, dangerous throw. Hudson Clark, great coverage.
But I love how they have on those early downs. Every time they get a fresh set, they're going to put the ball in the air. And not necessarily taking a shot down the field, but they're taking a shot. Great coverage on the edge by Clark. He's one of those guys who's strictly a corner, very good. Former walk-on. It was very good last week as well.
A lot of talk this season about the Arkansas offense, but the Hogs defense have stepped up big. They've held Missouri point without a point in the last 20 minutes of this game, trying to get off the field Hard running from Jacardier Wright, the transfer from Kansas State. Takes it for 9 to set up a 3rd and 1.
Finding a little soft spot off tackle right there. And that Razorback defense. And a good job on that left side with Landon Beebe, their big tackle, and Mark Hutchinson, their left guard, opening up some space for their running back to be able to get them in a very, very manageable 3rd down. This is a big play for this Arkansas defense.
What'll Bobby Petrino dial up on a 3rd and 1? Right, drilled! What a stop, Drew Sanders.
Oh
lays
my
the
goodness.
lumber.
What was that? Was a decleater of decleaters right there, baby.
Take another look at this.
Is, right there. That's why we watch the game.
That
right
reaction
there.
says it all.
Oh my goodness, that was awesome. Let's watch him get elevated. Woohoo! Baby! Come to Papa! Woo! Gives me some goosebumps up here. Woo!
And Bobby
Man.
Petrino leaves the offense out there for a 4th and 1.
That was fantastic. And now we're going to have to roll the dice right here. I love it. I absolutely love it.
Shelley kept it, pulls it back, wide open. Touchdown, Missouri State. 47 yards on a 4th and 1. Shelley pulled it out of the belly and found Ty Scott for a Bears touchdown.
What a call. What a sequence of plays right there. It does not get better than that. Holy mackerel, I cannot believe that. What a great call. Everybody sold out for the run. Every single person. All 21, and the 22nd guy knew it wasn't, and it was wide open. Man, love that. Turn that one right around.
After Drew Sanders makes the play of the game to prevent the 1st down, Missouri State leaves the offense on the field, and Jason Shelley.
Look at that, 21 guys committed to the run.
Wow.
And there's the pass when he pulls it right over the top. It's as good as it gets right there.
And I think everybody watching this game and in Razorback Stadium is thinking, when Arkansas ties it up at 17 after going down 17-0,
it's over.
Okay, well, they scared us,
Right.
but we're in control.
Hey,
And
look, Bobby Petrino is responsible for that right there. That's perfect. That's him. That's to take something like that circumstance, that situation, and then roll the dice and call the perfect play. Now, I want to give credit to Nick Petrino, who's the offensive coordinator. He's the one running the show. But at the same time, Bobby Petrino made the decision to go for it, had some input on that call, and that was just absolutely beautiful. That's play action at its finest right there, my friends. I'm speechless. I don't know what to say.
And a great job by the offensive line to give Shelley enough time to deliver that ball deep.
Beautiful.
Let's see how Arkansas responds. A.J. Green on the return, breaks a tackle. Still pushing that pile past the 35-yard line. Great return of 35 yards. That's where K.J. Jefferson and his Hogs offense will take over, trailing by a touchdown. Take a look at our quarterback comparison. Jason Shelley, a former Power 5 quarterback, started his college career at Utah, made the drop down to FCS level, proving he can play on the big stage. Those numbers very similar to K.J. Jefferson, one of the best quarterbacks in the country. Jefferson keeps it on 1st down, ahead of steam into Missouri State territory. Hard running, 14-yard gain.
And we hadn't seen much of that. This guy led their team last year in rushing and passing, but not much designed run for him tonight. That's one of the first ones that we've seen.
Throwing on 1st down. Out of the backfield, it's Sanders on the grab. Little gain. Jefferson, a dual threat, yes, but I call him a bulldozer with an arm.
I like that analogy. That's a good one. But they're very similar quarterbacks. Obviously, the size, there's much difference in the size, about 43 pounds in Jefferson's favor, but they're very similar in how they operate.
Sanders on the give. Swallowed up after a gain of 3.
Now we get to another critical down. This is on the offensive side of the football for Arkansas. The 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4. Empty backfield.
Jefferson thought about running, pulls back, throws. Hazelwood couldn't make the catch. Might have heard footsteps. Montre Braswell was right there to hit him.
We have seen that from a handful of their receivers tonight, looking away before they get that ball secured, and we see Jefferson telling Coach, we're going for it. And Coach looks over and says, send him in.
Wow.
So I'm the boss here. I'm going to tell you what's going on, even though
KJ Jefferson wanted to go for it on 4th and 4. You see how dejected he is running off the field, but Sam Pittman electing to send the punt unit on.
That'll work in the NFL. But here, maybe not as much. Coach wants to make the right decision. Give him a long field. Make him work for it.
I don't know. I think you might want to trust your veteran quarterback in that spot.
Well, you're getting short on time for sure, and you cannot afford many more punts, so this game's going to be over, especially the way this Missouri State team is operating on offense.
Well, I'll caution you there and just say this is an Arkansas offense that scored a touchdown in 16 seconds, 2 plays, 85 yards. So it's
we have
never
a short
going to be
memory
over
up here.
with that
We got a short
offense,
memory up here about that. You're exactly right. But I think that's just why this guy's the head coach, though. He's gonna make the right decision, put him back against their end zone a little bit, and ask his defense to come out and respond. Respond to what I've just asked you to do. Go out there, give me a 3 and out. Get my offense back on the field.
Tripped up in the backfield. Shelley throws a flag in the secondary. Lance Mason, the tight end, was sprawled out. 2 hogs in the secondary were down.
That ball
on the defense, number 7.
Ball didn't look catchable.
15-yard penalty from the previous spot.
Seemed a little bit long, and it looked like Mason, the big tight end, had given up on it. He had given up on getting down the middle, and when he saw the ball airborne, he tried to get to it. A little bit of a hit there.
There it is on Brini, the hold.
A little bit of cloth. But that ball, I don't know. That ball was out there a bit. But you can't hold anyway, no matter what.
Ball placed at the 30-yard line after the penalty. Missouri State with a touchdown lead, driving, looking for more. Shelley finds the tight end. It's Mason who catches it this time. Shoved out of bounds. Another first down, gain of 14.
And that's the same play we saw earlier in the ball game. In the opposite direction, though. And they're 2 for 2, getting their big tight end open. Young guy, freshman, still learning on the run.
This does not look like an FCS offense.
No, they are, especially who they're facing. It's you really kind of lose thought. You actually forget that they are an FCS team. Playing the number 10 FBS team in the country.
To the ground game, right. The transfer for Kansas State refusing to go down. The ball popped out, but marked down at the 50. Gain of 7.
Don't see much energy down on that Arkansas Razorback defense. Looks like shoulders and heads are down. Look like they might be a little fatigued. They got a lot of reps in that first half. That offense didn't do a good job for Arkansas of keeping them off the field, and they might be feeling a little bit of fatigue. Normally you'll see going the other way with the limited scholarships they have in that FCS program.
Shelley pulls it, throws, wide open. It's Booker again. Into Arkansas territory, first down, gain of 19.
And that's Booker in the slot. Just a little out route. It's pretty simple. A little play action, not much. Didn't really mesh. And just wide open out on the edge with Simeon Blair on coverage. It's one of their captains. We talked about him earlier, former walk-on. Said he's not the best player, but he gets the most out of his talent. Need to be a little bit tighter on that one, giving him too many open windows to be able to throw that football, not having to come off of his first read in that progression. A little bit difficult. to defend that, and he's got that straight out throw.
Cartier right. No room to run. Stood up by that Arkansas front seven. Missouri State more than content to march into this fourth quarter with a touchdown lead. This is a Bears team that hadn't even been to the FCS playoffs since 1990 before Bobby Petrino got to Springfield. Now they head into the fourth quarter with the football and a touchdown lead over the number 10 team in the country. You do not want to miss this fourth quarter. Start of the fourth quarter in Fayetteville. Buckle up, brace yourself. We've got a fun finish coming. Missouri State a touchdown lead over number 10 Arkansas. Bears have the football. Shelley in trouble. Evades the pressure. Trying to get the first down, shoved out of bounds. Bumper Poole, the leader, captain of this defense, marked him just shy. We have to mention, only top 10 team to lose to an FCS school. That historic Appalachian State win over number 5 Michigan. Bobby Petrino's Missouri State Bears have a great opportunity to be the second team to do it.
And this is the same scenario we had earlier when Sanders made that nice hit and stopped him on third down, and then they ended up with the touchdown on that fourth down play. Very similar circumstance. They've got to come out on the right end of this one, Arkansas. But this night might get long really quick.
Hard running from Jacardier Wright. Pushes the pile, plows forward, gain of 3 to move the chains. Bobby Petrino bringing his FCS program, Missouri State, back to a program that he once had in the top 10.
This defense for Arkansas has been on the field almost twice as long as they should be. I have time of possession almost doubled. And they spent 2 quarters of the football game on the field as opposed to Missouri State's defense has only been 1 quarter. That's becoming huge here late with the fatigue factor.
Shelley gets it out to Ty Scott. Stays in bounds. Yeah, at what point, if you're Missouri State, do you just want to start draining this clock?
I love how they're staying with the game plan. They're still throwing it on first down, which I absolutely love. I don't know why more teams don't do that, especially when you have the ability to use play action. Missouri State not as much so because their run game is a little bit stalled out and has been through the course of the start of the year. They're really a pass-heavy football team. But I love that they do that and they roll the dice and get them in second, fourth, 5.
Quarterback keeper with Shelley on 2nd and 5 goes nowhere. Landon Jackson was not fooled. Sniffed it out, made the stop. A crucial 3rd down to start this fourth quarter. Missouri State a touchdown lead in the Arkansas red zone. What will Bobby Petrino dial up?
And I'm really curious to see what they're going to do defensively. They're manned up. They've got nobody in the middle of the field. Looks like they're just going to sit there and rush 4 and then play. Looks like they're going back to a zone look. Safety in the middle.
Shelley steps up in pressure. Nobody home.
And they went with man coverage and they had everybody locked down. They kind of tried to disguise it as a zone look. Kind of confused Shelley a little bit, but he did the right thing and got rid of it. But again, this field goal gives them a two-score game, which me and you certainly did not think that this was going to happen. I know there's a lot of people sitting in the stands that didn't think this was going to happen.
Jose Pisano from 31 yards out to make it a 2-possession game in the fourth quarter. And he drills it. Confident kick from 31 yards out. And Missouri State has a 10-point lead in the fourth quarter. The pressure starting to build on number 10, Arkansas. Fourth quarter, a little more than 12 minutes left in regulation. In Missouri State, Bobby Petrino's FCS team from 120 miles up the road in Springfield, Missouri.
And he's probably one of the very few in this stadium that's not surprised right now.
Called for the fair catch. Let's check in down on the Bears sideline with Tara.
Well, there's still a lot of energy out here in the stadium, and I got to say, there is no lack of energy over on that Missouri State sideline. I was just over there, and the guys were huddling up, hyping each other up, saying, we've got this, we can win this game, but also, let's go out there and earn some respect. I got to say, if they hold on and pull off the upset here in Arkansas, they're probably going to earn that respect.
Still a long way to go. 12 minutes left to this fourth quarter, and certainly a capable Arkansas offense on the field. A.J. Jefferson back to pass. He's been running more. That time bottled up before he can shake free.
And the only thing now that really factors into this, which didn't earlier in the game, is now the pressure. The pressure of having to play when you're down. And that weighs heavy, especially on a quarterback if you have to start doing it with your arm.
Shovel pass. Here's Sanders. A burst of speed. Rocket Sanders steps on the gas. A foot race. Touchdown. 73-yard liftoff for Rocket Sanders.
Well, if you want to relieve the pressure I just
that's
talked
one
about,
way to do it.
There's the answer. It's a 2-yard flip to a guy named Rocket, and what does he do? He backs up his nickname and takes it the distance. Wow. Man.
What a response for Arkansas.
That's their second 2-play drive, isn't it? Wow.
Take another look. Rocket Sanders, 115 yards in the game. 73 of them coming on this run. Boy, did Arkansas need that. Razorbacks back within 3. A 73-yard Rocket Sanders touchdown. Arkansas back within 3, and you could hear the relief in the Woo Pig Suey chant that took place in the break. You know, how many times have we seen an underdog take an early lead? Missouri State goes up 17-0, but then the team that's expected to win, the favorite, rolls in and ends up winning comfortably. Arkansas tied it up at 17. Everybody thought that was going to happen. Then when Missouri State punches back with 10 unanswered, you felt the nerves in this place, the pressure start to mount, and as you said, you know what sucks the nerves right out? A 73-yard touchdown from your go-to player.
I'm telling you, but if you were to, I mean, you can't script this. This is something you would expect maybe in an SEC game or where you have equally matched talent and credentials on the field, but if you would have told me this going in, I thought you were crazy. This was going to go to the fourth quarter, and now they're still trailing this football game, even though it feels like the momentum is shifting. They continue, Missouri State continues to put that down. And they're doing it because their offense is sustaining drives and scoring points still.
You know, the home crowd has reached full voice, and it leads to a big sack. Landon Jackson, joined by Jordan Dominic in the backfield. They met at the quarterback, loss of 8.
As versatile as you are at quarterback, it does not matter when you have 2 guys coming at you. There's nothing you can do except secure that football. And that's the only option he had in that scenario. And they need that from their defense. Their defense was probably looking around going, man, we only got about a minute break. We got points, but we're back on the field. And they stepped up. And they need to continue to stifle this drive really quick.
12th man has come alive. Shelley Under pressure again, down he goes. Drew Sanders delivers.
And that's a play in the first half that, well, they missed that tackle. They missed that tackle, and he gets 16-17 on the ground, or he puts it up in the air and makes a completion. Doesn't let it happen again. Does a great job of winning out on the edge. And some excitement right there. Now they got a 3rd and 22, and we see that same defense from Arkansas. They've got 6 people deep, 20 yards from the line of scrimmage. They're just trying to get them to 4th down, give them anything they want short of that.
Quick hitter on a 3rd and 22. Not going to get there, not close.
Well, that's the series they needed defensively for sure. And that was great execution. But we still have an Arkansas team that has to respond. They're still trailing in this ballgame. They have not led 1 second of this game. And it feels like they're moving back into position, but they got to execute.
Well, they've got the crowd behind them. Played a big factor on that last drive. Here's Bryce Stevens trying to find a hole. Makes a few men miss. Turns the corner, and he's gone! Bryce Stevens, 80-yard touchdown, fires Arkansas in front.
Man.
First Razorback lead of the night comes on an 80-yard punt return from the speedster, Bryce Stevens.
There's a reason they put him back there, and it's not because they can't run, and we just saw why. No chance once he got out into the edge. Unbelievable. What a game.
First lead of the night for Arkansas comes with a little more than 9 minutes left in this 4th quarter. They trailed by 17, then tied it up at 17, went down by 10, and they've responded again. Take another look at the punt return.
Just an excellent job of setting it up, almost like a kickoff return where he works to his left, and the coverage shifts. He gets back to his right side and finds the hole. And there we are. Much relieved for these Razorback fans.
Head coach Sam Pittman. Bryce Stevens takes that punt return 80 yards to the house. Gives Arkansas their first lead of the night with 9:16 left in this 4th quarter. The Hogs had scored 14 points in the last 2 minutes and 22 seconds to take the lead. I'll tell you what, Brian, the crowd has really lifted this team when they've needed it most.
Without a doubt, and you're down 10 points, you've run 2 offensive plays, and now you're up by 4. That's just remarkable. And the special teams that cost them early with some penalties redeemed itself right there. And so now that pressure moves back to Missouri State of trying to be able to come out and get something going offensively. And they haven't really disappointed all night long on that side of the football, but they've gotten shut down the last couple of series. They've got to respond.
What does Jason Shelley and Bobby Petrino have in store for a response? Shelley throws on 1st down, completion for a 1st down, shoving tacklers all the way into Arkansas territory. Kevon Latulis breaks free for a gain of 38. How about that for a response?
That'll do. And again, we're reverting back to those mistakes earlier. Jaden Johnson, number 8 out there's got to make that play, got to go low and bring him down. Can't stay up high, got shoved off, and excellent kudos on his part for getting off of the tackle, setting them up in Arkansas territory.
Latulis leads all receivers with 5 catches. Came into this game with only 1 on the
False
season.
start on the offense, number 73. That's a 5-yard penalty, and it remains first down.
Landon Beebe, the left tackle, moved, so this will back Missouri State up to a 1st and 15, still in Hogs territory, though.
Yeah, Beebe, one of your captains out there. Can't be giving him negative yardage to start that first play.
Pressure coming. Shelley drilled as he throws it. Bobbled incomplete. Shelley took a big hit on that throw, stood in the pocket. Brings up 2nd and 15.
Nice clean little hit there by Poole coming up the middle, letting him know he's there. Make him think about it a little bit.
Bumper Poole sets the tone on the defensive side of the football.
That's a lot of yardage right there between those two ball clubs. Pressing 1,000 for the 2 of them.
Here's Shelley. Quick hitter. Swallowed up. Nobody fooled. Navion Mitchell, only a gain of 3.
And that's Nichols, number 33, coming from that interior, sees it, works back. 315-pound, 5-year senior, moving that weight, making the play, stopping it in its tracks. Very well designed, good call. Big play here, 3rd and 12.
Listen to this crowd ahead of this 3rd and 12. Down he goes! Zach Williams, hard off the edge. Loss of 8. 7th sack of the night, and it's the biggest one for Arkansas.
A great move out on the edge against their captain, Beebe, number 73, their left tackle. Barely slows him down. And Shelley has nothing to do again here but just to secure the ball and take the shot.
Now, the last time we saw Bryce Stevens, he took it 80 yards for the touchdown. This one he let sail way over his head through the back of the end zone for a touchback. The Hogs get the stop they needed. Offense back out onto the field, leading by 4. Finally eat as Arkansas has taken the lead in this 4th quarter. He doesn't like to eat when he's nervous. Hogs 14 unanswered after Missouri State, FCS school from Springfield out of the Missouri Valley. They led this game in the 4th quarter, 27-17. What a response for KJ Jefferson, Rocket Sanders. This Arkansas offense, as well as Bryce Stevens on an 80-yard punt return to gain control of this game. Brian Kitchen, how do they put it away now?
They do what they've done all year. They run the football. This is what's so great about having such a strong, solid, consistent run game, even though they struggled earlier in this game of finding their footing. But this is what closes it out. It eats up clock. It occupies the ball, keeps it away from Missouri State. And if Missouri State can't score points, they can't win. And so they're going to do what they do best. And we're going to see that work with Kendall Briles as we get a shot of him making those calls, giving those short yardage distances, converting first downs is all they're looking for.
Usually an up-tempo team. They let the play clock tick under 5. Sanders pushes the pile for the first down. He's up over 200 total yards now between the ground and the air. That's a career high for Rocket Sanders. First time he's hit 200 total yards in his Razorbacks career. That one touchdown that went for 73 yards really set the tone. They got Arkansas back in this game.
And I talked about him earlier, how he's taken basically the load of that running back responsibility. They had 3 of them in the backfield last year. Now it's him, and he's doing it well.
Quick hitter to the flat. Landers Nowhere to operate. Only a gain of 2.
And that shows up as a pass in the statistics, but it's the same as a run. It's an easy completion. We know the ball's not going to be missed. Runs time, runs clock, and that's just the same.
Clock ticks to 5 minutes remaining in this fourth quarter. Missouri State has given number 10 Arkansas everything they can handle in this game. The Bears defense must come up with a stop.
And it's tricky because you don't want to give the ball back, because that gives the opportunity for them to, in this one-score game, to take it right from you. So they've got to get first downs.
Blown up in the backfield. Dodge. Absolutely swallowed up. Sanders, loss of 4.
Yeah, now you're in, man, right on top of him. Just a beautiful job on the edge. Sneaking in off of that right side. And now it puts him in a 3rd and long, and you know that this is not going to be a high-risk play. They're going to take what they can get.
Ryan Beard, defensive coordinator for Missouri State. He's Bobby Petrino's son-in-law, needing a stop on 3rd and 12. Jefferson steps up, unloads, it's caught for a Hogs first down. Trey Knox makes the grab, gain of 21 to keep the drive alive.
I watched him from the snap, from the line of scrimmage. A beautiful little post corner right there in man coverage, which is what Missouri State does so well, and got open. And kudos to Jefferson for lacing it right in there. Beautiful throw and catch. This is why you work on it all week, because you never know when you're going to need it.
385 yards through the air, a career high for KJ Jefferson. And some timely throws when his team is needed the most. 1st and 10, Jefferson stays in the air. That time Knox could not hold on, and that'll stop the clock with 3:15 to go. Missouri State does have all 3 timeouts. The Bears know they need to get off the field if they're going to keep this Cinderella story going.
And they're trying to do the same thing to the opposite direction of just a quick throw that's going to keep the clock running. It was a miscue on the quarterback and Knox right there, but they were manned up in coverage and they were bringing pressure. I like that both sides of the football are still gambling a bit, trying to put the ball in the air and manning up on the other side and taking their chances with Missouri State.
Sanders in the backfield. Both he and Jefferson have career highs for yards tonight, and Sanders adds to his tally. Rocket Sanders takes off again inside the 10. What a run of 43 yards for Rocket Sanders.
The numbers on both sides of the football, I would have never thought. But Sanders, this is first 2 games of the year. That's 200-yard games. He's probably approaching 200 now, I'm sure, for the night.
167.
Yes.
Of Arkansas's 595 yards. They're closing in on 600 as a team.
But again, if this was Arkansas early in the game, we would be, okay, this is what they do. But now when they need it, responding, I think, is the best part of this, is that they're responding.
Jefferson takes it himself, pushing that pile, marked down to the 1-yard line.
Because you hate to see your team exposed early and really kind of vulnerable to an upset, but at the same time, you've got to love the way they've battled back. And they've stayed in this. It's not been pretty. It's not been how you want to script it. But for Coach Pittman, as much as this is a negative early on, I think it's a huge positive to how his guys have responded to each other in this, after that lull they had early in this football game. And closing out this drive would be monumental, obviously, towards that step to put it out a 2-score game. But
Jefferson takes it himself. Touchdown, Arkansas. Nine-play, 80-yard drive for Sam Pittman and Kendall Briles.
gotta love the smile there by the head guy. Wow. Frustration all night long, and then to be able to put a smile on your face. Man.
Well, that touchdown finally gives Arkansas the separation that they've been looking for. Trailed by 10 points in this fourth quarter and now take an 11-point lead. They've outscored Missouri State 21-3 in this fourth quarter.
Well, that's the guy that when we talked to Dalton Wagner talked about when they get in stressful times in football games, they look to him. He remembers the LSU game last year when he said, "Hey, I got you guys." Well, guess what? Not only does he have him then, he has him now, and he's going to have him for the rest of the season because this guy is the one, the engine that makes this offense work. And yeah, they had struggles. They had a couple of turnovers early in the game. The interception on the first series of this half, it was not his fault. It was a bobbled catch. But I just love the way the resiliency of bouncing back and getting back to where we thought they would be much earlier in the ball game. But man, this has been a game I never thought we'd see, and I'm happy to be a part of it. I won't be able to talk tomorrow, but hey, all's good.
Well, KJ is obviously one of the leaders on this offense, and the guys just absolutely rally behind him. We had the chance to talk with Bumper Poole and Dalton Wagner, and both of the guys were like, I don't think I've ever seen KJ Jefferson tired. That guy has so much grit that he just gets everyone pumped up and ready for these games. I'm sure they're really hyped up right now after they seeing that.
That's funny, speaking with this Arkansas coaching staff, they said KJ Jefferson is the leader. Tara hit on it. It's so true, and you wear that C on the front of the jersey, but it's one thing to see it. It's another thing in a game like this where they really needed somebody. KJ Jefferson and Rocket Sanders go for career highs on the same night when their team needed it most.
Yeah, when I asked that question about under stress and duress in a game, I didn't think it would be tonight.
Yeah.
But it is, or it was, past tense.
And again, it's one thing to go down 17-0 early. We see that a lot in sports when the underdog comes in and throws a big punch and then the favorite comes back, which Arkansas did. But when they went down a second time by double digits, that's when you really got a good look of what this Arkansas team is made of.
But imagine the confidence that Missouri State is going to take from this football game, even though they're likely to come up on the short end when they go back to playing FCS football.
Now, this is a team that absolutely could end up as a flag down, winning the FCS National Championship.
After a game like this, the confidence they're going to have.
Ball start on the offense, number 1, 5-yard penalty, still second down.
Now, I know we've talked a lot of Bobby Petrino tonight, but
please reset the game clock to 1:35, 1:35.
To put it in perspective, the Bears had not made the FCS playoffs since 1990.
Right.
3 decades.
And he comes in his first year
and takes
them there. And then again last year. And after this performance, I'm telling you, I'm going to have to be looking out for these guys because I guarantee you they're going to be on a roll.
2nd and 15. Shelley heaves it. Way overthrown. Since the 8-minute and 30-second mark of the second quarter, this Arkansas defense has held Bobby Petrino's offense to just 10 points. They really buckled down when they needed to.
And yeah, and it was right after I made that comment that they had been on the field twice as long as Missouri State's defense, 2 quarters to their 1, and then what do? They put their head down and get it done. And they responded when they needed to. But I know Bobby Petrino is very upset. You can see him on the sidelines, but they're going to take a lot of positives from this football game without a doubt.
Drew Sanders ends the night on a sack. The 8th sack of the night for this Arkansas defense. And it's the Drew Sanders show on 3rd down.
And they talked about Sanders earlier this week, that they said Sanders would have come here out of high school, but their program wasn't good enough. He went out to Alabama for a few years. Now he's back. Huge impact. Him along with Bumper Poole, those 2 guys in the middle, have been monumental tonight in the first couple of games of the season, and they're going to hopefully continue that throughout the remainder of this, and that schedule's not getting any easier for sure.
At Texas A&M a week from today, and then 2 weeks from today, Alabama comes to Fayetteville.
Yeah, they're going to wake up sore tomorrow morning, but that's not going to be anything compared when those SEC teams start rolling in. But credit to Missouri State. They brought it tonight in every facet of the game.
2 career highs for the dynamic duo, KJ Jefferson and Rocket Sanders.
Those are some impressive numbers. And yeah, it's against an FCS team, but they're numbers that were done under the duress and stress of having to pull out this ball game, which to me is so much more important and valuable that they were able to do that and respond in the way that they did. And not just them, obviously. There's 12 other guys or 10 other guys and 9 other, I can't do my math, 9 other guys on the field when they're out there. But kudos to them for responding, and from Missouri State and how they played this ball game, and Coach Bobby Petrino for sure.
In Petrino's return to Fayetteville, Missouri State gives Arkansas everything they can handle, but the Hogs come out on top. Improved to 3-0 on the season. A long embrace between
that was
Sam
a nice
Pittman
exchange there. Wow.
and Bobby Petrino. Tara Talmadge mentioned at the start of our show the respect Sam Pittman has for Bobby Petrino and what he did here at Arkansas when he first took the job. He used to show Bobby Petrino footage to recruits saying, look, we've been to a Sugar Bowl not too long ago. We've been to a Cotton Bowl not too long ago.
And everybody, like I said at the start of the broadcast, everybody wants love and acceptance, and to be able to get, I'm sure, some very kind words from Coach Pittman are encouraging to Bobby Petrino in spite of the loss. But they're going to take a lot of positives away from this football game and carry on to down the season.
And Coach Pittman's down with Tara.
Well, Coach, it didn't start out the way you wanted it, but your guys battled tonight. How proud are you of the way that they fought?
Well, I'm proud that we found a way to win. You know, Coach Petrino had his group ready. They outplayed us. They outcoached me. We were just fortunate enough that our kids made enough plays to win.
I was about to say, you had a couple of guys make some big plays, but you had 2 that set career highs tonight with Rocket Sanders and KJ Jefferson. Just how important are they to what you guys do?
Well, they've been doing it all year for us, and they basically took over the game in the 4th quarter, and we needed them to. But I'm glad we're 3-0. We have so much work to do. I'm not going to be unhappy. I'm unhappy right now. I'll be happy once we get in there. We got a lot of work to do, but we're 3-0.
All right, Coach, thank you.
Thank you. Go Hogs.
Outscored 21-3 in the 4th quarter. Sam Pittman's team exerted their will down the stretch. And Coach, quick to remind everybody, forget the first 3 quarters. We're 3-0. That's all that matters.
And that's good. I like to see that positive. You know, when you win football games, it's usually the other way around where they're knocking you back down. But he's got have a lot of praise for his guys on that field tonight, for sure.
For Tara Talmadge, Brian Kitchen, I'm Jay Alter. Sam Pittman and Arkansas survive an FCS scare from Bobby Petrino in Missouri State. For our production crew and everybody at SEC Network, Arkansas moves on to 3-0. 38-27 is your final. So long from Fayetteville.